Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Why your attendance is so poor? What is the reason? If you think that those who are not attending class or those who are just joining and leaving the class, if you think that it will go as usual, then you are thinking wrong. Obviously, it will affect your semester performances. So, what the topic actually we are discussing, because it will take some time to bring the screen. Let us talk in between that time. So, what is the topic actually we are discussing? Anyone can say, because that was your task also to read about the things. What was the topic?
Ma'am, geometrical representation of the signals that SI, phi I, that phi.
Yes, that means signal space representation. So, what do you mean by the space? Anyone? Right now, 23 plus are there. Already one has left. So, what do you mean by space? And have you any idea regarding this space? Not, I will not ask about the idea. I will just ask that how do you define the space? Space we can enjoy on the screen or on the paper also. They are also spaces, isn't it? Suppose if we want to draw something on the paper, then obviously we have to select some space. So that is also space. So space means some location or some kind of this type of vacancy where we can accommodate the things. And here, what we are trying to accommodate, actually, we are trying to accommodate the signals, isn't it? And what is the kind of things? So, for this, first we have to define the space, and then we have to define that whether it is a space like a plain paper or it's a three-dimensional space or the kind of things. Okay. So after considering that one, that means after considering the dimension of the space, that where you want to project the things, then we will plot the signals in that space. But one relevance should be there, and that relevance is that what is the maximum dimension of the space we can consider. So regarding that things, already you know that maximum dimension of the space should be like that, so that what we want to plot there, that should be complete by that space. Okay. And if we consider that kind of criteria, then the dimension of the space that should not exceed the maximum dimension of the set of signals what we want to plot there. Okay, suppose we are plotting a set of signals where the components number of components is 6. Okay, so if the number of component is 6 there, then the maximum dimension of the space what you can uh, be ready there. So the maximum dimension that will be 6. It can be less than 6. It can be one dimensional space. It can be two dimension. There is no problem. But the maximum dimension that always should be less than the number of the dimension or the dimension of the, I mean the, okay. So our space is already ready. So now let me explain the thing.
ম্যাম আপনি কি স্ক্রিন শেয়ার করছেন?
হ্যাঁ, দাঁড়াও 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 দাঁড়াও, সেটা হয়নি। অ্যাকচুয়ালি এটা অন্যদিন আগে করে ফেলি, আজকে পরে দেখতে পাচ্ছ?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So just like our discussions, what we are trying to continue. Suppose let us start with some two-dimensional space. Okay, already we have discussed this thing, but let us have a brief overview of that. Two-dimension of the space. Then usually, how do we show the things in two-dimension space? On the plain paper, just we draw two axes. This is one axis. This is one axis, and based on this one, there is some relationship over this axis. As you know that here this axis is x, this axis is y. So what we want to plot, there we see that how much I mean the units it will take over the x-axis, similarly how much it will take over the y-axis, and based on this relationship we found that suppose this is the arbitrary coordinate of the point P, where it is going 3 unit along the x-axis and suppose 3 unit along the y-axis. So the coordinate of the P is 3, 3. Okay. So the same thing we are trying to show in terms of signal. And here the dimension of the space is not like the Cartesian reference system XY. Actually, that is a very generic system, very general system. And there is no restriction that your space will be 2 dimension, space will be 3 dimension or 7 dimension. It can be of any dimension. Usually we show the dimension of the space with some notation that is, I mean the J. Okay, where J factor runs from 1, 2, 3 up to n. So now the question is that what is the highest value or what is the permissible value of the n? So n has no highest limit except the set of signals what we want to plot there. And their group of signals, for the group of signals also we use one running index where index I can take the value 1, 2, 3 up to m. If we consider binary, then it will end up to 1, 2. If we consider quaternary, it will end up to 4. So it may extend up to m. M can be take of any higher values. Okay. Only the restriction is that n is less than equal to m. N never exceed m. Then what is the problem? The problem is if n exceed m, or suppose our dimension of the space exceed the number of the components what the signal is having, then one undefined relationship would be remain there. Then that will not give you the total projections of the signals in that space. And because of that reason, the dimension, maximum dimension of the space is always less than equal to the number of signals present in the set. And if we show these two number in terms of n and m, then this is a relationship. This is not permissible. That is the thing. So now just if we compare these things, then for this one, suppose we are trying to plot and set of signals that I value runs from 1 to 5. So that means what is the thing? Here m is equal to 5. That means this set of signals have 5 number of individual signals. And suppose we are trying to plot these in some 2-dimensional space. That may be allowed because dimension of the space is less than equal to 5. Suppose we are trying to plot it in some 2-dimensional space. So for this 2-dimensional space, we have to consider one is along this one. And here, unlike the xy, actually we use the terminology that is orthonormal basis function. So that means the basics or the fundamental units with which your dimension of the space is configured. So suppose this is your phi 1, because the orthonormal basis function here we show with the notation of phi j of t. Why j? Because j can run from 1 to up to any value n. Here we are considering 2-dimensional space. So one will be phi 1t, another will be phi 2t. Okay. Take suppose signal 1, S1. Suppose S1, the plot of S1 is here. So that means it has some relationship over the phi 1, has some relationship over the phi 2. And how do we find this? Obviously, we can find this one because all of them are discrete set. So let us take the total duration of the things. Suppose your total duration is t, that means your symbol duration, your bit duration, whatever your kind of rotation you are trying to adopt here, that things. And then what is the signal? The signal is S1t. What is the component? That means with which orthonormal basis function you are trying to find the relationship, that is with phi 1t into dt. So that means this one will give you S11. That means relationship of S1 with phi 1. So that means how many units of phi 1 it will take to describe this over the projected one. Similarly, for the phi 2, suppose this is the thing. So let us draw a projection. So what will be the value of the S12? Obviously, it will be integration 0 to t. We are trying to find the relationship of S1t with phi 2t. So the integration will be performed with in between S1 and phi 2 into dt. That the things, and we will abbreviate it in terms of S12. So this is your coordinate, or this is your plot of S1 in this two-dimensional space. Similarly, suppose you are plotting the S5, this is your S3, this is your S2, this is your S4, like this. So that means you are plotting 5 such signals, set of signals which are present inside this set. And this whole one is known as the constellation, that is the collection of the signals. Okay. And suppose this is acting as a source for some digital passband transmission. Then how do we proceed the things? We will proceed the things that with respect to this one, how do we choose the carrier? Then what will be the plot of the signals after getting modulation? After getting modulations, then how do we consider the receiving criteria? How do we consider their signal to noise ratio performance, which is known as the bit error rate, probability of the bit error rate, etc., etc. And all these things we can find with the help of a single tool, that is a signal space representation. And if you think of a very general systems, then the state of signals what we use for the digital systems, then sometimes it may of the value of 64. So that means we are handling a constellation where 64 such components are there, 64 such state of signals are there. So for this 64, can we write 64 equations for the modulation, modulated version in the passband, for the recovery, etc.? No. Everything we will, what we will show, that we, everything will be shown in the dimension of the space that we are defining. There we will plot this. There we will plot the modulated versions, and based on the modulated versions and the unmodulated version, we can define their probability of detections, we can define their bit error rate, etc. All these things we can define there. Okay, so the thing is very simple. Just you think about that what you want to plot, this should have a very much relationship with the plotter, because the plotter is here phi 1 and phi 2. If we exceed the, if we consider the general, then it will be phi n. So we have to find the relationship with them. Actually, they are known as the expansion coefficient or coefficient of expansions. This is the thing. And all these basis function, they are termed as the orthonormal basis function, because we know that the product of phi 1 and phi 1, they will lead to 1 within the interval, but within the interval phi 1 and phi 2 into dt, they will lead 0. So that is why they are orthogonal to each other, normalized to unit energy. So they are termed as the orthonormal basis function. Now, based on this idea, and already the relationship what I have introduced in the last class, based on these things, let us consider or define two systems. So what are the two systems? Suppose we are considering the end elements of the vector is I. Okay. So that means your I is equal to 1, 2 up to n. So what are the vectors? Obviously, this will be treated as SI1, SI2, SI3, SIN, like this. Okay. So if we show that this is the thing, and if we feed them at the input of some product blocks and take the sum, then the thing can be used as like this. These are the components SI1, SI2, SIN. Okay, and here with every product block, we are taking the product with the set of orthonormal basis function. So as n components are there for this particular SI, so the number of orthonormal basis function is n. So now if we take the sum of all these, then what it is? It is your SIT, isn't it? So with the help of this schematic diagram, we can show you how does a signal is synthesized in the signal space representation. Just the things what we have considered in terms of first from the definition of the space, then I have already shown you that what are the relationship of individual signal with individual orthonormal basis function. For this, what actually we do the projections from every constellation to the corresponding axis. So obviously this will give you the value of the Sij, or this will give you the value of S12, like these things. So the same things here we are showing in terms of some schematic block diagram. Here what we are taking n components of the signal. So that things we can show in terms of some vector Si2, Si3 up to Sin. Then what we are doing? We are taking the relationship of this one with the every orthonormal basis function, correspondingly every orthonormal basis function. So when we do this and take the sum, then what it is giving us up to this line, just if we follow the line, then we will get the outcome Si1 into phi1t, Si2 into phi2t. This one is dot 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 dot, because this will continue for 3, 4, 5, 6. For the last line, what we can write? Sin phi nt. And when we take the sum, this is nothing but j is equal to 1 to n Sij phi jt, isn't it? Just these the things what your summer is giving you. N lines, so sum is running from j is equal to 1 to n, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to n lines. Then what are the components? We are taking the sum of products. This is sum of products. What are the products? The products is for phi 1 line Si1, for phi 2 line Si2, for phi n line Sin. So that means that component which where the second indices match with the number or the indices of the orthonormal basis function. So when we take this is nothing but this. And what is this? Just the first line what I have written you for your expression in the last day. This is nothing but the total set. So this is known as the synthesizer. Okay, synthesizer for generating the signals. So that means if signal components are given to you, that dimension of space is given to you, from there you can configure the signals. So synthesizer is with the availability of set of orthonormal basis functions and components of signals. Configuration of whole signal. This is your role of the synthesizer. Now similarly we will show you another schematic diagram, and there let us consider the given thing is given set of signals. There it was given the component of the signals Now we are taking the state of signals. So state of signals means is IT, where I is equal to 1, 2, 3 up to M. This is given as the input. Okay. And now the thing is, again the state of, and also, and also set of orthonormal basis function. They are given phi j where j is equal to 1, 2, 3 up to n. This is given to you. And they are arranged in such a way that this SIT is acting as a common to this n number of lines. So SIT is acting as a common to this n number of lines, and here for n lines, every line is consisting of some product block, that is followed by an integrator block where the duration of integration is duration of the symbols. Like this. And let us see that what it is giving us. So what it is giving us? Anyone can say? This is your SIT. Okay, that means the whole set of signals that you are giving here. So obviously, as I value runs from 1 to m, so let us pick up I is equal to 1. If we take I is equal to 1, then after this, what you will get? S1,
The
phi
original
1.
is SI1
Okay,
in the case of phi 1.
1, 1. Then you are integrating this over this. So whatever the component you will get here, S11. Now, if we consider just instead of I is equal to 1, 2, just let us follow the indices I, S, I, T. So then what you are getting for this one? S, I, T, S, I, phi 1. That means here we are getting this is as S, I into phi 1. Then you are taking the product of this. So that means when you are taking the product, this becomes SIT into phi 1t into dt. What it will give you? It will give you the expansion coefficient of SI with phi 1, isn't it? SI1. Is it or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes or no? Yes. Similarly, when we take that this, what the things as it is the common line. So here also SI will come. Whatever the input we will feed here, the same input will feed into n lines. Nothing else. Because as per the schematic diagrams, that the things we are getting. And when it is coming at across the second line, your product block is getting the other input is with phi 2. So what we will get here is IT into phi 2t. And you are taking the integration over this. So what the things this is? This is nothing but relationship of psi with phi 2. So that means SI2. If we go on, then what will be your last one? Your last one will be SI, because SI is the input, phi n is the product. So this will be simply SIN, isn't it? And these blocks, these set of blocks, they are known as the product integrator, because every line is consisting of the one product block followed by an integrator block. Product integrator block, or it is known as the correlator. Why it is known as the correlator? Because these blocks help us to find the relationship with every individual set of orthonormal basis function within the duration, within the symbol duration or within the valid duration. That is why it is known as the correlator. So either it is known as the product, it is a very helpful block to find many things, and it will help us in any in several purposes or several fields. for the signal space representation. So these are known as the product integrator or the correlator blocks, because out of this one, if we feed any common input to this entire block or to this one, this will help us to get the total analysis of the entire things. So sometimes this is also known as the analyzer block. Okay, as this is help us to get the all details of these things. So this is also known as the analyzer. So your previous one is known as the synthesizer, because they are individual components. They are getting product with the orthonormal basis function, and when we take the sum, actually we configure the total set of signals. Here just the reverse things. Your signal is given here, and what are the components? That means with what components it is configured, it is constituted of. That constitution we are getting individually from this block. So that is why it is known as the analyzer block. And also, as by the name of its constituents, it is also known as the product integrator block or the bank of the product integrator, because it is a collection of so many lines or so many product integrator block, and sometimes it is also known as the correlators. So whatever is the things we can term it is. And obviously from this entire discussions of the synthesizer and the correlator or the analyzer, we can define the signals as completely in terms of the vector type of dimension of vector kind of things, where the thing we can write Si is equal to Si1, Si2, Si3 up to Sin, like this, where I is equal to 1, 2, 3 up to n, and j is equal to, because two indices are there, 3 up to n. Second indices will indicate that the dimension of the space or the orthonormal basis function, and the first indices will indicate the number of the signals or the set of the signals. So this Si, it is known as a signal vector. When we are able to write this is in terms of these components, then this is known as the signal vector. Okay, and just the things what we can see in the three-dimensional vector spaces, the same kind of things, only the things here is n-dimensional Euclidean space. As you consider in case of the vector spaces, so here also this is known as the n-dimensional Euclidean space, and this is known as the signal space. This is known as the signal space. So this is the total detailing of your abbreviation of your name of the or title of the chapters. That is why it is signal space representations or the kind of things. Now once the constitution is under our capability, then we will show that within this one, how do we plot the entire things, how do we show the energy of the signals, how do we show the length of the signal, the difference between the two signals, etc., etc. Okay, so when we want to show the length of the signals, then length of the signals, for this we use the notation like this. So let me write here length of signals. How this is shown with in terms of the symbols. So this is shown with the double absolute values. Okay, like this is I. If this notation is given used, then this means this is indicating the length of the signals. And if I take the square of the length, then that means is I. This means Si into Si. In terms of the matrix notation, this means SI, where T stands for transpose matrix as per the properties of the matrix. And this is what? How much this is? Can you say? For this SI, J is equal to 1 to N Sij phi Jt. For this SI, J is equal to 1 to N Sij phi Jt, kind of things. So this means summation over j is equal to 1 to n. Even we can take the two with two different indices, one with j, another with k, and you know that when j is equal to k, then only they will be same, otherwise they will not be same. So just if we do that, if you use here k, then this we can write as Sik phi k. Okay, when j is equal to k, then only they will be same, otherwise they will not be same. So then what are the things? Sij, and similarly this thing is Sij is equal to k, k is equal to j, or j is equal to k, whatever is the thing. What the notation you are using here, you should apply that things. So this means this is equal to j is equal to 1 to n is Ij square. Okay. So squared length if we take, that is the squared length of signal is equivalent to the inner product of Si with itself. Okay, that is the thing. Now if I show you the energy of the signals in terms of this representation, then with the Rayleigh's function, what is the form of the energy? Energy EI. Obviously energy stands for which signal? Suppose the ith signal. So energy E for the ith signal, that is equal to how much? Integration 0 to t, as we are finding ith, so Si square t into dt. This is a very common function what we can dictate from the Rayleigh's function. Okay, that the things. So now let us find that what is the energy. So for this, let us use integration 0 to t. For the first Si, let us use an index j is equal to 1 to n Sij phi j of t into Si. Okay, for this let us take another indices k is equal to, because that is the general formula. Actually when j is equal to k will be, then will be they identical, otherwise they will not be identical. But just to show that if for the first Si we are taking j is an index up to n, here k is an index up to n, just to show the generalization, here we are using the two different indices, otherwise the rest of the thing is same. So Sik phi k into t, these things into dt, because these things we have written for one Si and these things we have written for one Si. Your thing is Si square. Okay, now what, how we can write this? This we can write as summation over j is equal to 1 to n, summation over k is equal to 1 to n. Let us take there outside of the parenthesis Sij Sik integration 0 to t. What are the remaining part? Phi jt, and from here phi kt into dt. What do you know from the fundamental relationship? Phi j phi k, this product is equal to delta ij, and this is equal to 1 when obviously this is not delta ij, here the indices are j and k. Please be careful. Okay, delta jk, this is equal to 1 when j is equal to k, this is equal to 0 when j is not equal to k. So that means this clearly says us that both the running in both the sum will not be valid. Actually j is equal to k is equal to 1 to n. So that means here we are using single sum, and this becomes Sij, and this Sik also becomes Sij. So this is Sij square whole square into 1 is equal to summation, because when j is equal to k, then on 1, otherwise 0. So for this one, when you are using the single index, you are using Sik is equal to Sij, then your Sij square becomes, then obviously it is valid, otherwise not valid. So J is equal to 1 to 1 is Ij square. So what you have find? Here you have find that your energy of the ith signals, that is very much equal to this, and your squared length in your previous portion, that is also is equal to this. So what you can conclude here, energy of the signal is equal to norm square. This is okay. So this is one things what we are getting for the when we are adopting the signal space representation. Suppose instead of single signals we are getting the two set of signals, nothing else. Suppose your SIT and SKT. This is a set of signals. This is a set of signals. So now for this pair of signals, this becomes like this. Integration product of these two signal becomes SIT SKT into DT is equal to SI transpose matrix SK. Okay, so this is the inner product between the two set of signals. So this is the inner product between two sets of or pair of signals. Okay, so now the other things what we can show, that is the thing is uh, the difference between the, if we take the distance between, suppose thing we can write in this way, that suppose, okay, these space are already occupied. Let me show here. Okay, suppose this is a space phi 1t and phi 2t. Here one signal we are showing with the help of S1t. Suppose another signals we are showing with S2t. Then what is the distance between the two signals? How do we show or how do we calculate this in terms of the signal space representation? Even we can find that what is the corresponding angle between these two. That also we are able to find. Okay. So for this one, obviously S1, how S1 is find? S1 is consisting of with this coefficient. S2 is consisting of with this coefficient. Okay, so from there we can find that what is the gap between the two signals, and the vector representations of these things, that what we are showing here, that things can be written as Si minus Sk with this double num, and this is known as the Euclidean distance between, it is shown with the notation d, and it is finding the distance between the ith and the kth, so it is denoted by dik. And just if you ask me that where it becomes important, I can explain you very readily this one, application of this one or the utility of this one. Suppose when you are transmitting the signals from your transmitter end, then the plot of signal was like this. Okay. And when you are receiving these signals after the channel, and you know that channel usually we show with the help of this model S1t. Wt is the sample function of white Gaussian noise any channel schematically, when you model mathematically, then you show with this notation that this is the desired component, this is the all functions which is coming from the all the other relevance of the other components, and the type of mixing is additive mixing. Additive AWGN is the kind of modeling of the channels, and suppose here it is coming in form of the S2T. Okay, so if I just plot it in the signal space representation, then S2 is equal to S1 plus WT. So obviously S2 will not match in one to one with S1. It will be something different from S1. And how much is the difference, or why this difference is there? Because WT is getting added with S1, and that is why S2 is getting different. So when you plot these two pair of signals, then suppose this is the plot of the S1, this is the plot of the S2. Now with this plot or with these projections, when we will try to find out the condition for optimum reception. Condition for optimum reception. That means the condition, optimum condition, when I will get the best receptions. Then for this, what you have to measure? You have to measure that because of the WT, how much is the deviation between S1 and S2. So that means somehow you have to find this D12. Okay, you have to find this D12. And if you were able to minimize this D12, then obviously S2 will overlap with S1, and that will help you to establish the condition for optimum reception. Is it clear to you? I think this is a very best examples to find out that how this plot just help us to find that find some condition, or find to help us to get some way out. This is a very good example that these are the things, and once we are able to measure this D12, that minimization of D12 will help us that S2 and S1 they will be overlapped. Obviously what you will get the rejection of WT and the full detection of the S1T. So now let us see that how we can show this in terms of this. So this is the notation actually what we use. That means distance between the set of signals, they are shown in terms of the signal space like this, and this DIK means the gap between the ith and the kth set of signals. So now just if I calculate this one, that is square of this SI SK square, then what we can write? You know that SI mod square is nothing but Sij square, isn't it? Already we have defined this. If I take just the simply the one absolute norm square, that is nothing but Sij square. Similarly, when we are talking about this simple one, that is nothing but Skj square. So what we can write here? We can write here very easily, summation over j is equal to 1 to n Sij minus Skj whole square. Okay. And if we write, usually we can write this is integration 0 to t Sit minus Skt, this whole square into dt, because summation over Sij and summation over Skj is nothing but energy of the signals also. Already this thing is given here, because this is equal to summation over this and this is equal to summation over this. So what we can write? We can write integration 0 to t Sit minus Skt whole square into dt. Okay. And if I want to find that what is the angle between this cos theta ik, this is equal to how much? Can anyone say?
Ma'am, the dot product of the two signals by the
Very
product of
good.
the signals.
Yes. Very good. This is Sk. Obviously, the things what we have to represent in terms of the they are alphabets. Okay. So this is the angle between this. Now we will consider the making of the process. How do we can generate a space in terms of the or with respect to a given set of signals. This is a very interesting things. Let me introduce. Once you will be habituated with these techniques, then your passband kind of things will be very easier to you. Okay. So what is things? The thing is, let me brief here the things. It will help you later. Generation of some space and its dimension. That means how to define a space. Okay, that way. And here the thing is, obviously, to start anything, you need some input. What is the inputs? Let me write here in terms of inputs. That will help you to correlate the things. Input is a set of signals. Input means what is given to you. So that means you are given a set of signals. With respect to that, I have asked you that use the Gram-Schmidt orthogonalization process, and with the help of this one, you will be able to define a space. Now let us see that how we can define this space, or how the thing is just the reverse. Initially, what we are trying to do, initially we are defining a space. First, we search for a space or a location where I will take the draw. Suppose I want to draw a picture. Then for this, what I will do? First, I want to take a piece of paper, or I will want to make some search for some space. It may be on wall or it may be on floor. That means I need some space where I can draw. Okay. Then I start the draw. Here the thing is different. That some set of signals, that means what you have to draw, that thing is given to you. You have to define the space with respect to that. And the method or the process with which we can do this method, according to the name of this scientist, is known as the Gram-Schmidt. And as every basis function is orthogonal to each other, so the name of the process is known as the orthogonalization process. So is it clear to you that why it is called this one? Orthogonalization, because every basis function, every brick, they are orthogonal to each other. So that is why this is known as the orthogonal. And this thing we will follow here everywhere. Okay. So the thing is, as per the input, the set of signals, let us declare as SIT. And as per our notation, we are following till now, I is equal to 1, 2, 3 up to M. So to initiate the things, follow carefully. To initiate the things, we have to consider an orthonormal basis function. Say it is phi 1t. Okay. So that means, suppose we are starting with one dimension, then for one dimension, one orthonormal function will be there. Otherwise, we will not be able to start the things. Just when we do some XOR kind of things, there sometimes we need some pre-bit. So suppose this phi 1t is just performing the role of that kind of pre-bit. So let us treat this is an pre-basis function. So that means this is available. If it is not a multi-dimension, if it is not a finite dimension, at least one dimension is available. So let us start with this one. That means otherwise, if we do not consider the existence of the phi 1t, then we will not be able to initiate the things. So to initiate the things, let us consider that a one-dimensional space is there, and the basis function what is responsible to consider this thing, that basis function is phi 1t. So what we can write? We can write the relationship of the phi1 with the first function or with the one function of the set of signals. So what we are considering, let us consider the things in this way. S1t that is equal to S11 phi 1t. Then how do we write the phi 1? Because here the thing is you are generating a space. So obviously when you are starting from this one, you have to write the generation of the space from the given input, because your input is set of signals. So if we want to write this, then what we can write? Phi 1t is equal to simply S1t divided by S11. And you know that if it is a single dimension space, then E1, this is equal to S11 square, because already you have seen this thing. EI is equal to summation over j is equal to 1 to n Sij square. As you do not know that whether you are able to define any other dimension, just the things you are considering with respect to the first initiation of the space of the first orthonormal basis function. So whatever you have to consider, that you have to consider with respect to the first function, first input. So your first input is, you are taking first signal from your set, that means signal number 1. So for this signal number 1, you are considering its energy with respect to that. So that means it is E1 is equal to S11 square. So what you can write here, the complete description of this orthonormal basis function is IT root under E1. So from this, as this is a very valid one, so from this now you are able to say, yes, your dimension of space is established, and this is right now one dimensional space. Now, as with the help of the Gram-Schmidt orthogonalization process, we are able to maximize the dimension of the space, or we are able to configure the total space. So now we have to search that whether the higher dimension is allowed here or not. And always keep in mind, your input is your given set of signals. So as your input is I is equal to 1 to m, that means more than one signals are there. So let us consider the second signal. Let us pick up to find here, to find higher dimension than 1, because right now you are at 1. So whether dimension 2 that is allowed here or not, to search that things, let us pick second signal S2t. Okay, so when you are writing S2t and already your phi 1 is defined, this one is defined, this one is well established, then first let us write that what is the relationship of this S2 with phi 1. So this will be defined in terms of this expansion coefficient, and simply this will be integration 0 to, because whatever the phenomena, whatever the thing that is already always happening within the 0 less than equal to small t less than equal to capital T. 0 less than equal to small t less than equal. This is always keep in mind. Everything what is happening, everything what is the correlation, everything is within this duration. Out of this duration, there is no existence. S21 is S2t phi 1t dt. Now this is giving you the expansion of coefficient of second signal with the first orthonormal basis function. But your objective is, with the help of this S2 and phi 1, to search whether phi 2 will exist or not. Am I clear to you? With this, what you are doing, your first orthonormal basis function is already declared and it is well defined. Now you are trying to search that phi 2 is there or not, and what will be the maximum dimension of this. How long I can continue this process. So to search this, let us introduce, please follow carefully here, introduce an intermediate function. Okay, and what is the role of this intermediate function? Suppose if phi2 is there, then this intermediate function will take care of the phi2 and s2. Am I clear to you? Your input is given set of signals, because you know that your dimension of the space never exceed the set of signals. So based on that key feature, you are trying to search that whether that plus 1 is applicable there or permissible there, because already this one is well defined. So what you are doing, if your S2 is dependent on any other function, then let us introduce an intermediate. If this intermediate function is non-zero function, then obviously except the S2 one, someone is there who will complete the total definition of S2. So how we are introducing this? Let us indicate this intermediate function in terms of GT. And with respect to what input you are searching this, with respect to the second input. So G2T is equal to how much? G2T is equal to S2T minus S21 phi 1T. Follow very carefully what these things give us. You are trying to find out the existence of any other correlationship, any other relationship. That is why you are using an intermediate function. And the basis of this intermediate function is your second signal. So that is why we are using G2T. And what is the existence key feature for the existence of the G2? S2 minus, if we do these things, if this is non-zero, then G2 is valid. If this is 0, then we have to stop, because there is no such exit. S2 means S2 is configured. If G2 is valid, then S2 means S21 phi 1 plus some S2 to phi 2T. So whether this will exist or not, how do we can find this? If I subtract this component from this one and that becomes non-zero, if this becomes non-zero, that means G2 have some values, then it clearly indicates us, yes, S22 is there. Otherwise, this cannot be non-zero. Okay. So with the with respect to this G2T, and obviously this G2T, it will be orthogonal. If it is not orthogonal to phi 1T, we cannot take it, because our main synthesis process is orthogonalization. Phi 1T over 0 is less than equal to T. That means always I am telling you that whatever the phenomena we are considering, whatever the event we are considering, always it is bounded within this time interval. So then phi 2T, that we can write phi 2T is equal to how much? Phi 2T is similarly based on this one. Isn't it? And just if we substitute the expression of G2, then S2T minus S21 phi 1T divided by root under this whole means S2 square means E2 minus S21 square. Is it clear? Please.
Ma'am, how we are getting phi 2T? Please repeat once more.
How we are putting phi 2 in place of?
Means how we are getting phi 2T in terms of G2T.
Okay. Let us come back here. Here what I have written, first the thing we have pick up the second signal, and already we declared, because here our phi 1 is well established, we find what is S21. Now what is the role of this G2T? G2T we can write then only when this will be non-zero. Just come to this one. S2T is equal to, if the space is single dimension, then what will be your answer? Your answer will be S2T is equal to S21 phi 1T. You will stop here or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. If second dimension exists, then obviously you will not stop here. So for this you have to write S22 phi 2T. But we do not know that this phi 2T exists there or not. Because if phi 2T exists, then it should be orthogonal to phi 1T within the durations, and it should be with some expansion coefficient. Clear? So how do we can find the existence of this? We can find the existence of this if we subtract the S21 phi 1 component from this S2. That means just if we do this, and this is non-zero, then what does it indicate? What does it indicate? It indicates the existence of this second things. That things we are introducing here with some general function G2T, because we do not know that whether it will be able to describe in terms of phi 2 or just the residue. That means if we take the subtraction of S21 phi 1 from total S2, and if it becomes non-zero, then that non-zero quantity we are writing in terms of G2T. And if this G2T becomes orthogonal to phi 1T, that means if integration 0 to T G2T phi 1T dt, this is equal to delta 2 1. That means when 1 is equal to 2, then 1, otherwise is equal to 0. If this happens, then only with respect to G2, we can acknowledge the existence of phi 2. So G2 is the intermediate function. That means G2, we are, with the help of the G2, we are trying to find out the residue of S2 and already existed component. If it valid, we can proceed. Then what will be the definition of phi 2? The definition of phi 2 will be on the basis of this. Is it or not? Because G2 is the gap between S2 and S21 phi 1. So the definition of phi 2 will be always on the basis of this G2T. So how much it is? Just follow this relationship. So here it is based on G2T and the root under this. So root under this. How do we find the energy? The energy corresponding to G2 will be integration 0 to T G2 squared dt. So this will be kind of G2, kind of these things. So that things when we take the root, so that means it is this, what you are writing here, same notation. So the validity of phi 2 is based on the existence of the G2, and G2 is orthogonal to this phi 1. Then you are following this one, and if you substitute the whole formation of this one, you will get this. Is it clear to you or not? If it is not clear, please tell.
It's clear, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So now that this is the thing, and obviously after this you have to mention this one, that is, it is normalized to unit energy. So phi 2 squared T into dt, that is equal to 1, and integration 0 to T phi 2 T phi 1 T into dt, that is equal to 0. That means phi 1, phi 2 are orthonormal. So now the thing is how long we will proceed, because already your set of signal runs from I is equal to 1 to n. This is your set of signals. So how long we will proceed? For this, that means what is the maximum dimension of the space? So we will search this thing with respect to right now for S3. So for S3, you have to define a function G3. And how much will be G3? Just for your sake of interest, who have asked the questions. S3 minus S3 2 phi 2T. Can we write this? S3 1 phi 1T. When this will be non-zero, and that will be orthogonal to phi 2 and phi 1 separately, then we can consider the existence of the phi 3 with respect to this G3T. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Very good. Then the generalization function is GIT, because this is based on the number of the set of the signals. So this is the GIT. This is the general function, is equal to how much? SIT minus summation over J is equal to 1 to 1 minus. So I minus Sij phi j t, because here you are taking all the functions except this one. So that is why j is equal to 1 to I minus 1 Sij phi j t. If this becomes non-zero and orthogonal to the all the other existing orthonormal basis function, then we can consider the existence of the phi I. And based on these things, phi it is equal to simply GIT integration root under energy. So this is GI squared T into dt. Okay. So that is the recursive relations what we can apply here. I is equal to 1 to up to n. Okay. So the set of signals S1 to Sm, they form a linearly independent set, and here n is equal to m, because ultimately set of signals SIT where I is equal to 1 to m sets are linearly independent, sets of linearly independent signals form a space where n is equal to m, and your Sij is equal to integration 0 to t. Several times we have written there phi jt into dt. Okay, that we have written for this one, Sij phi jt. So that is the whole things what we are considering under this Gram-Schmidt orthogonalization process. Now in the next class we will model our AWGN channel in terms of this one. That means how do we represent AWGN channel with the help of these notations. Okay, so this is the thing. Any question?
What
If
if
you have the question.
what if n is not
Yes.
equals to, what if the value of n is not equals to m?
What is the value? That may be any value. That may be any value which is less than m.
Ma'am, will in
It
that
may
case
be
also
single dimension, it may be two
independent?
dimension, but the maximum dimension. Here the things what we are doing, we are trying to find out the maximum dimension of the space. So maximum dimension can extend up to the maximum number of signals, or the rather the number of signals present.
Ma'am, in that case also they will be linearly dependent. Oh, sorry, independent.
Listen, one thing, just to answer your thing, when we will not be able to find out the GIT, or when GIT will be 0, then we will stop. Some problems are already given in the book of the Simon Hackens. There, if you go in the exercise part of this one, there you will see that some set of signals are given in the graphical domain, and you have asked to find the orthonormal basis function. And just if you practice that problem, you can get the answer of your questions, that whether it will be just a single dimension or it will be the maximum dimension. It will owe the maximum dimension. That the things. Okay, am I able to clear you things or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Just if you have the book, or if you can download the book, you please go through the exercise portions of this Simon Hackens communication system, fourth edition. There you can see at the first, at the beginning of the exercise, 2 or 3 such problems are there, that some set of signals are given, with respect to time domain, and the orthogonalization process has been asked. So just there, try to complete the process with the help of this set of GIs. When GI will take the value 0, we will stop there. So when GI value will take this value 0, it depends on the set of signals, isn't it? Okay, any other question?
ম্যাম এই পোর্শনটা সাইমন হ্যাকিংসে ভালো পাবো না?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, আমি আগের দিনই বললাম যে এই জায়গাটা সাইমন হ্যাকিংস।
ওকে ম্যাম।
Any other? Okay, if there is no question, then I'm leaving the class.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
শেষ।
আজকে গ্যারান্টি দিলাম, আজকেরটা বেশি কেউ কিচ্ছু বুঝতে পারিনি।
শুধু আজকেরটা? আচ্ছা, যে রোল নাম্বার লিখছে কেন?
পাগল হয়ে
ঠিক আছে,
ম্যাম নিজে লিভ করে গেছে, রোল নাম্বার লিখে যাচ্ছে। রোহিত তো নিজেই লিখেছে।
আরে আমি লিখেছি নাকি?